Ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors and professionals, listeners and learners, advocates, advertisers, administrators, and advisors, those who belong to the field of science, religion, spirituality, arts, commerce, and engineering, the most honorable present Prime Minister Sen Dr. Availability of respected doctors and ministers, reverend fathers and mothers, affectionate sons and daughters. I, Dr. Rakesh from USA, heartily, cordially welcome all of you. It is really nice time, nice place, nice section you are listening. The truth of science and spirituality. It's the God's grace and His blessing that we are listening. His words. I thank God. Really, it is nice time, nice place, listening with 100% present sense of mind. Nice to see all of you, nice to meet you. Really, God has provided wonderful time by giving the power of speak to us. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, God. Religion of multiple gods. Indian subcontinent is the land of mixed culture, color, caste, and creed, and is understood to have the oldest civilization of the world. When Christians, Muslims, or Jews first encounter Hinduism, they are to be struck by the profusion of gods and goddesses, vividly represented in paintings, sculptures, and other art forms. Colorful, often sensuous, sometimes humorous. After a visit to India, poet Mark Twain wrote, India has 2 million gods and worship them all. In religion, all countries are paupers. India is the only millionaire. There are 3 principal deities in Hinduism: Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, sometimes referred to as the Hindu Trinity. Brahma is thought of as the creator, Vishnu as the sustainer of life, and Shiva is associated with dissolution and death. Yet, first impression can sometimes be mistaken. For many Hindus regard their gods and goddesses as manifestations of the supreme divinity Brahma. In the Vedantic schools of Hinduism, Brahma is the name given to the concept of the unchanging, infinite, immanent, and transcending reality that is the divine ground of all being. This supreme cosmic spirit is regarded genderless, omnipotent, and omniscient. There are many religions in the world, and they usually have a propounder, that is a person who has started a religion, like the Prophet Islam Christ Christianity, Guru Nanak Sikhism, and many more, like Mahavir Swami, Gautam Buddha, Zarathustra, etc. But Hinduism does not come in that class as it has no single propounder. It has come into existence through time, suiting the lives of the people of the land. Hinduism is not founded nor propounded by a single or group of people. It has neither been formulated nor designated in one day, nor designed in one day or over a lifetime. It grew slowly and gradually through time along with all the changes, allowing the changes and incorporating all new ideals brought in from people pouring down from distant lands. Around 5,000 years ago, a highly rich and advanced civilization came into existence on the banks of river Sindhu, and the people living on the river banks of Sindhu were known as Hindus. The name taken from river Sindhu. Hinduism is a way of life. It is characterized only by the way of life of its people. It is open to criticism. No talk is profane. No debate is blasphemous. It accepts ideals at all times. It allows changes at times. It does not dictate terms to people. Any person who lives in the Indian subcontinent and thus lives accordingly to its lifestyle is a Hindu. Hinduism is very flexible. It doesn't set any rules in choosing your God. If you are well off without a God, it does not bother you. But people may. Indians correlate it with other religions that have come up and hence seem to think that fanaticism is the identity of being a followers. Remember, Hinduism had anybody. Remember, Hinduism never had any holy wars. Hinduism doesn't expect any fanaticism from its people. Rather, it discourages such dogmatism and fanaticism. What is Hinduism? What is religion? Not quite right. The most obvious misconception about Hinduism is that we tend to see it as a religion, a faith. Hinduism is a way of life, a dharma. Dharma does not mean religion. It is the law that governs all actions. Thus, contrary to popular perception, Hinduism is not a religion. For centuries, the world has misinterpreted this, and out of this misinterpretation have come most of the misconceptions about Hinduism. Words like Hindu or Hinduism are anarchanisms. They do not exist in the Indian cultural lexicon. People have coined them to suit their needs at different points in history. Nowhere in the scriptures is there any reference to Hinduism. Writings we know categorize as Hindu scriptures include not just books relating to spirituality but also secular pursuits like science, medicine, and engineering. This is another reason why it defies classification as a religion. Further, it cannot be claimed to be essentially a school of metaphysics, nor can it be described as otherworldly. In fact, one can almost identify Hinduism with a civilization that is flourishing even now. The Aryan invasion theory having been completely discredited, it cannot be assumed that Hinduism was the pagan faith of invaders belonging to a race called Aryans. Rather, it was the common meta-faith of people of various races, including Harpans. The Sanskrit word Aryan is a word of honorable address, not the racial reference invented by European scholars and put to perverse use by the Nazis. Evidence that Hinduism must have existed even before circa 10,000 BC is available. The importance attached to the river Saraswati and the numerous references to it in the Rig Veda indicates that Rig Veda was composed well before 6500 BC. The first vernal equinox recorded in the Rig Veda is that of the star Ashwini, which is now known to have occurred around 10,000 BC. Subhas Kek, a computer engineer and a reputed Indologist, decoded the Rig Veda and found many advanced astronomical concepts therein. The technological sophistication required to even anticipate such concept is unlikely to have been acquired by a nomadic people, as the inventionist would like us to believe in his book Gods, Sagas and Kings. David Frawley provides compelling evidence to substantiate this claim. Many believe that multiplicity of deities makes Hinduism polytheistic. Such a belief is nothing short of mistaking the wood for the trees. The bewildering diversity of Hindu belief, theistic, atheistic, and agnostic, rest on a solid unity. Ekam Sat, Vipra, Bahuda, Vedanti. Says the Rig Veda, the truth, God, Brahman, etc. is one. Scholars call it by various names. Scholars call it by various names. What the multiplicity of deities does indicate is Hinduism, the spiritual competence and the doctrine of the chosen deity. The doctrine of spiritual competence requires that the spiritual practices prescribed to a person should correspond to his or her spiritual competence. The doctrine of the chosen deity gives a person the freedom to choose a form of Brahman that satisfied his spiritual cravings and to make it the object of his worship. It is notable that both the doctrines are consistent with Hinduism's assertion that the unchanging reality is present in everything, even in the transient. Fast their significance. Fast and eliminate all filth, fast and cleanse, fast and revitalize, fast and conserve energy, fast and cure all disease, fast and pray, fast and meditate. Man's foremost duty is to do sadhana, meditation, for the realization of God. For sadhana, a sound body and a sound mind are most essential. Fast help a great deal in keeping the body in best state of health. With all the best possible precautions, it is very difficult to avoid coming mistakes in regard to the food that we take. A man with great self-control may be moderate in food, but there are various other causes which he cannot avoid, and thus his health gets impaired. If there is even the least symptom of disease in the body, it is a signal to fast for a day or two. Animals which depend only upon nature fast naturally if there is any disease and cure themselves by natural means. For example, sunlight and fresh air, fast and rest, cold, headache, slight feverishness, a little cough, loaded colon, etc. are some of the signs of disease, which if neglected in the beginning may take a serious form. To avert this impending danger, our Shastras have enjoined fast on Ekadasi, Pradosha, Shivratri, Purnima, Amavasya and on other particular days in the week for the propitiation of particular deities. One should observe fast on any one or more of these days, but as few persons are now in the habit of keeping the Indian almanac, they may observe fast on any weekday as it suits their work and convenience. Really, fast is a fast curing agent for many of the ailments. It gives some rest to the stomach and eliminates toxins from the body. It cleans, it cleanses the body, it cleanses the body and thus makes it more energetic. It can cure many diseases. Much care is required in observing long fast. They should be observed under the guidance of an expert. Otherwise, if there is any mistake in their observance, there is every possibility of more harm than good being done to the system. 2 or 3 days fast can be observed without the guidance of an expert. In this age, when there is a great lack of self-control, a weekly fast on any day, living on fruit juice is much better and convenient, and this should be necessarily observed. If even this is found difficult, a half day fast should invariably be observed by all persons. They should take fruit juice in the morning and in the noon and have their usual meal before sunset, or they should have their usual meal in the morning and take no cooked food in the evening and take juice of fruits only. By gradual practice, they should learn to fast 1 day in the week without taking any solid food. Fast for over a week not only cleanses the body but gives us more energy and power and also spiritual strength. The Ekadasi or Saturday, the Sabbath day, whichever suits you best, can be observed as a fasting day. Keep it at definite and regular intervals as it suits you. It gives the worldly minded man more and more happiness, just as the Sega, who has nothing to ask for, it gives him altogether a different kind of health. It is absurd to imagine that you are growing weak for want of food. Indirectly, you grow stronger day by day, both physically and mentally, through fasting. Fasting gives cleanses, fasting gives clearness of insight into subjects, a mirror for the vision. It bestows in the human machine an activity all anew. You must hear a course of discourses by a man who has practiced fast. You somehow develop a way. You have an inexplicable liking for him for no reason, and you are proud of having him in your presence, all for the divinity that has unconsciously crept into him without his knowledge. Festivals, their importance. Look at nature. There is existence enjoying Holi every day and celebrating Diwali every day. In nature, the colors flow afresh every day. New flowers open each morning. Even before the old leaves fall, the new birds are bursting out. and the new shoots are springs up. Festival does not stop even for a moment. It is non-stop. Every moment is Diwali. Such will be the life of a religious person. He will be festive each moment. He is grateful that he is. His every breath is an expression of gratitude and benediction. And this is a byproduct of witnessing. Witnessing means seeing from a distance whatever is happening. The day you begin to see that you are beyond all that which is surrounding you each moment. You have transcended. You will know that you are flowing with the supreme energy of existence. India has numerous national, regional, local, religious, seasonal and social festivities. There is not surprising considering the fact that India is the land of gods, goddesses, saints, gurus and prophets. All these festivals are characterized by color, gaiety, celebrations, feast and a variety of prayers and rituals. It may not be out of place to describe India as a land of festivals, since India is a multi-religious and multilingual country. It is but natural to find festivals of all major religions in the world being celebrated in India. Thus we come across Holi, Dussehra, Janmashtami, Hanuman Jayanti, Ganesh Chaturthi, Eid ul Fitr, Muharram, Shivratri, Buddha Jayanti, Jamshed Navroz, Christmas and Diwali, all celebrated in the spirit of harmony and national oneness. There is also a stream of secular or non-religious festivals like the harvest festivals of Baisakhi and Pongal, Sankranti, Raksha Bandhan, Karwa Chauth, etc. India, the vibrant land of mythological tales of gods and goddesses and a thousand beliefs, has evolved over centuries as a mystic land of festivals. Every occasion you can dream of is celebrated with gaiety. These colorful and happy festivals bind the people of the nation across various states and religions in a unique way and provide a world. India is a land of festivity, religious as well as folkloristic. Folkloristic, whether you go to the east or the west, north or the south, every month a festival or a fair, be it cultural or religious. It gives everyone an opportunity to enjoy and join the festivity. The Hindu festivals, fast rituals, holy baths, and the observance of sacred days are part and parcel of the great cultural heritage of India. They are a great source of spiritual and moral enrichment. They are deep rooted in our tradition and ideals that have left deep impact on Indian culture and civilization. Festivals are a celebration of life itself. In India, festivals are celebration of life itself. In India, festivals are celebrated with gusto, devotion, and passion. Festivals intrinsic part of the Indian ethos. They reflect the diversity of celebrations in a multicultural nation which values sentiments, respects traditions, and fosters community living. Every occasion, from the harvesting of crops to welcoming the season or marking the full moon, is a reason to celebrate. Sorry for interruption. Festivals are a celebration of life itself. In India, festivals are celebrated with gusto, devotion, and passion. Festivals are celebrated by folk music and dances, feasts, prayers, and rituals. Indian festivals are celebrated according to the solar and lunar calendars. Consequently, can vary in the Gregorian calendar. Customs and traditions, a prologue. Indian culture is admired and respected the world for its beauty and profundity. Almost every Indian custom and tradition has either a scientific, logical, historical, social, or spiritual significance. Understanding this, understanding this lends meaning to an otherwise traditional following of the customs which are often misunderstood to be mere superstitions that fade away in time. A unique feature of Indian culture is its resonating capacity. Self resonating capacity. Customs that are obsolete or customs that are obsolete are gradually dropped as seen in the instances of human sacrifice as well as animal sacrifice to a large extent. Sati, unsociability, etc. The culture tailors itself constantly to take the best of the modern technological age without losing its roots. It is this adaptability that has enabled India to be recognized as one of the world's oldest living civilizations. The customs and traditions given are simple, enduring ones that have lasted the test of time and are an integral part of many an Indian home even today. Some of the major customs and traditions are explained. Namaste. The word Namaste is found by joining Name and Te. The meaning of Nama is bend and bow one's head, and Te means Tere liye, for thou. Te is singular of Chaturthi of Yushmat word, which in Hindu means two. In fact, the word in itself is small, incomplete, and a symbol of slavery. Now now any intelligent man can understand that if an elderly person addresses someone younger to him with Namaste, it is respect in reverse order. The reason is that in the cultures in the world, the the bowing of head by the parents before their children, by the teacher before his disciples, and by the husband before his wife is considered indiscreet. Indiscreet in Indian culture. If you address an old man as tu, it is as good as killing him, and an inexcusable crime. The real meaning between people is the meeting of their minds. When we greet, we do so by saying Namaste, which means may our, may our minds meet, indicated by folded palms placed before the chest. The bowing down of head indicates the gracious form of extending friendship in love and humility. The gesture is Jai Satya Ram, Jai Sita Ram, Om Shanti, etc., indicating the recognition of divinity. The spiritual meaning of Namaste is that the life force, the divinity, handshake as a blind following of the West is not desirable. Their practice has proved very dangerous in transmission of contagious disease. People in the West shake hands with gloves on. According to Indian beliefs, by shaking hands with others, you are earning your accumulated divine strength. According to Indian beliefs, by shaking hands with others, you are earning your accumulated divine strength. So handshake is wrong and painful practice. People worship or people worship, as mentioned in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Mentioned in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna himself says that among trees, people is the most sacred tree. Therefore, devout Hindus get ready even to lay down their lives happily in defense of a people tree. The people tree is considered as the abode of Lord Vishnu. According to Sakand Purana, Vishnu lives in the roots of people. Keshav, Krishna in its trunk, Narayan in the branches, Lord Hari in the leaves, and all the other gods in the roots of people. This tree is the concrete and living form of Shri Vishnu. Persons of great souls serve its spice roots, its shelter, enriched with virtues, and fulfilling all wishes, eliminates thousands of sins of men. Importance of string mala. In Sanatan Dharma of Hindus, the importance of string mala is not limited to knowing the number of the mantras. Our Maharishi went beyond and searched and ordained wearing strings of medicinal stones, herbs and divine trees. According to Dantrasar, the string or garland of Kamalaksha, Kamalgata, lotus seed destroys the enemy. A string made of Kusha notes removes sins. A string of Jivaputra, one along with amulets of Sanatan Gospel and with recitation of Lord's named bestows a son. A string of rubies gives wealth. A string of Rudraksha, worn and with recitation of Maha Martyunjara mantra removes disease and gives a long life. A string of Haridra is worn for removing the obstacles and eliminating enemies, for killing others and doing tamasi, bad deeds. A string made of snake bones is used. A string of marble is good for learning and attracting others. A string of tulsi and teeny conches is prescribed for pleasing Shri Krishna and Vishnu. A string of tiger's nail, gold, silver, copper coins is used for saving children from evil eye and many infectious diseases. Prostration before elders, especially parents. Touching the feet in prostration is a sign of respect for the age, maturity, nobility and divinity that our elders personify. It shows our recognition of their selfless love for us and the sacrifices they have done for us. Prostration is done daily when we meet daily and on important occasions. When we prostrate with humility and respect, we invoke the good wishes and blessings of elders, which flow in the form of positive energy to envelop us. This tradition thus creates an environment of mutual love and respect among people, ensuring harmony in the family and society. Lighting a lamp. Light is the symbol of knowledge and darkness that of ignorance. A lamp is lit in homes once or twice daily at dawn and dusk in front of the gods In a few homes, it is continuously lit, a khada deep. All the auspicious, all the auspicious occasions are inaugurated with lighting a lamp. Knowledge removes ignorance just as light removes darkness. Hence, we light the lamp to bring knowledge as the greatest of all forms of wealth. Therefore, we keep a lamp lit during all auspicious occasions as a witness to our thoughts and actions. The traditional oil lamp has spiritual significance against lighting an electric bulb or tube lights. It is said the ghee or oil in lamp signifies our signifies our vasanas, while wick batti signifies the ego. When a lamp is lit, our vasanas are showing exhausted and ego perishes. Chanting Om and Hari Om. There is a Vedic tradition to pronounce Hari Om before the chanting of a mantra at the beginning of Veda Path, study of the Vedas. Incorrect pronunciation of the Vedas causes a defect named Mahapatak. It is compulsory to pronounce Hari Om in the beginning and end in order to remove the possible defect of mispronunciation. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavat, Sarvan Karoti Nishchidram Nam Sankirtanam Hare Vida Sankirtam Sanskirtan Sarvam Karoti Nishchidram Nam Sanskritanam Hare Vida Sanskritanam, musical recital of Hari Om. All these defects and impediments are removed, while may crop up in a religious ceremony due to improper chanting of mantras, procedure, arrangement, place, time, and things. One is Om is the most chanted sacred sound in India. It has a profound effect on the body and mind of the one who chants. All the auspicious actions are started with Om. It is repeated as mantra. The sound energy from the vocal cords starts from the base of the throat as A, with the coming together of the lips Yo is formed, and when the lips are closed, all sound ends in Ma. Om. The Om chant should have the resounding sound of a bell. It fills the mind with peace. Om is written in different ways. It also symbolizes Lord Ganesha. Ganesh worship first. There is not a single activity in Sanatan Dharma which is performed without the worship of Ganpati first. Resultingly, Shri Ganesh became a synonym of beginning. He is the first to be worshipped among all gods due to his rare intellectual brilliance. According to his Yajna Valkya Smriti, after the worship of Ganesh, all the 9 grahas should be properly worshipped. This leads to good results of all activities and attainment of wealth. Janeu, the word Janeu, which is a brief form of Yagyopavita, is formed with a combination of Yajna, synonym for Yajna, from which Ya is dropped, and Upavita, from which Pavita has been dropped. In common parlance and in slightly deformed shape, in rural areas, people call Yagyopavita as Janeu. Janeu is a sacred instant one. Janeu is a sacred thread worn by Hindu males from the time they reach adolescence, and the related ritual is performed by a teacher who makes him take certain vows and at concentrating on education, etc. Bhasma, ash. Bhasam means our sins are destroyed and the Lord is remembered. Bhasam is the ash from the homa, from the home where sandalwood along with ghee and other herbs are offered as worship of the Lord. Many consume a pinch of bhasma when they receive it. Bha implies Bharatnasnam, to destroy, and Sama implies Samarnam, to remember, thus meaning destruction of the evil and remembrance of divine. Bhasma is also called Vishnu glory. Bhasma is also called Vibhuti, means glory. The ash we apply indicates that we should burn false identification with the body and become free of the limitations of birth and death. This also reminds us that the body is perishable and one day it will reduce to ashes. Bhasma is especially associated with the Lord Shiva, who applies it all over his body. Bhasma has also medicine value and is used in many Ayurvedic medicines. It absorbs excess moisture from the body and prevents cold and headaches. Watching Dhruv. In India culture, there is a tradition of having Dhruv Darshan, seeing Dhruv star, which has always a fixed and permanent position. It bestows long life to husband when it is watched by a married woman, while its steadfast character helps the couple in performing their marital duties towards each other. This spice message is bestowed on the couple through blessings of seven rishis. Just as Dhruv is fixed Likewise, the bride's suhang husband should be fixed and permanent, Dhruvid steadfast and committed. Likewise, the bride and groom should be steadfast and committed in the performance of their duties and regulations of married life. This pious message is passed on to bride and groom along with the blessings of seven rishis at the time of their marriage. Offer bhog to God. Whatever food and water we are receiving, we should consider it as God's gift and offer it first. This is not only being rightly grateful to Him, but a good human trait also. A father had two sons, Chunnu and Annu. There was some festivity at home. Both of them insisted and got some pocket money from their father. Both of them went to their village fair. Chunnu bought some pakoris, fried eatables, from his pocket money and ate them alone. Anu bought some reveries, means sweets. He was reminded of his father's one should not eat things alone. He ran back home and offered reveries to his father, who was sitting with his friends. He said to his father, Pitaji, you please take some of these first. The father did not touch the reveries, but he was touched by this little gesture. He was happy on seeing the obedience of his son. His friends also appreciated this gesture of his son and gave him money in reward. In the evening, Chunnu was admonished for his eating alone, and he was never given extra money again to spend. Chunnu and Annu are none other than two sons of God. One an atheist and the other atheist. And father the God, both of them cry and beg for money from their father. Atheist son Chunnu eats alone all the things provided by nature, but the theist son remembers the Vedas and scriptures, distributes his things to gods and others, and after that eats them as prasad from God. The Lord Shriman Narayan gets pleased and bestows upon such persons more and more riddhi siddhi, wealth and success. After offering food to God, accepting it as his prasad makes that food divine. The other, the offer of bhog to God, is the chief characteristic of theism. Chanting Shanti thrice. It is generally believed that what is said thrice comes true in the low courts also. One who takes the witness box says, I shall speak the truth, the whole truth and nothing. We chant Shanti thrice to emphasize our intense desire for peace. Shanti meaning peace is a natural state of being. Peace already exists in a place until someone makes noise and causes agitation. When agitation end, when agitations end, peace is naturally experienced. Since it was already there, peace within or without seems very hard to attain because it is covered by our own agitations. To invoke peace, we chant prayers to end our troubles, and peace is experienced internally. Peace is experienced internally irrespective of the external disturbances, and all such prayers end by chanting Shanti thrice. It is said that all our troubles and sorrows originate from three sources. First of all, Ahadi, Ahadi Devika, Adi Devika, Adi Devika, the unseen divine forces over which we have no control, like tsunami, earthquakes, floods, volcanic eruptions, etc. Secondly, Bodhika, non factors like accidents, human contacts, pollution, etc. And thirdly, Adhyatmika, problems of our bodies and minds like disease, anger, frustration, etc. Shanti is chanted loudly for the first time, addressing the unseen forces. Second time, a little softer, directing to our immediate surroundings. And third time, we chant Shanti in the softest tone to address ourselves. Conch blowing. A conch is blowing. A conch is blown during was the battles to intimidate and finally destroy the enemy. One who blows the conch at the time of worship has all his sins destroyed, and he enjoys happiness with Lord Vishnu. When the conch is blown, the primordial sound of Om emanates. Om is an auspicious sound that was chanted by the Lord before creating the world. It represents the word and the truth behind. Another well-known purpose of blowing the conch and other known traditionally to produce auspicious sounds is to drown or mask any prevailing negativity or noises that may disturb or upset the atmosphere or the mind of worshippers. The at the altar in temples and homes next to the Lord as a symbol of Nada, Brahma, the Vedas, Om, Dharma, victory and auspiciousness. It is often used to offer devotees sanctified water to raise their minds to the highest truth. All these religious beliefs have a scientific basis. Scientists believe that the rays of the sun are an impediment in the propagation of sound. That's why a conch is blown either in the morning or evening when sun rays are of low intensity. The sound of conch kills all the germs of various diseases due to its vibration of a particular high frequency. Indian scientist Jagdish Chandra Bose has proved this fact through experiments. Hearing the sound of conch is panacea for removing dumbness and stammering. A person who regularly blows conch never suffers from breathing problems, asthma or lung disease. The sound of conch is highly beneficial in several cases of disease. Regular conch sound is very useful in purifying air, atmosphere and environment. Tulsi worship. Most of the minded families have a tulsi plant in their angan. It gives a Hindu family a special identity. Women, by worshipping it, brings prosperity in their family. When Shri Hanuman, the devotee of Lord Ram, entered Lanka looking for Sita, he saw a tulsi plant in the courtyard of a house and could make out how pious and householder must be, and whose help he sought later. The worship of Tulsi has been going on as a very ancient tradition. Those who do not have their own children arrange Tulsi marriages. Lord Vishnu cannot be worshipped without offering Tulsi leaves. Leaves of Tulsi are a must in bhog for Lord Vishnu and in Charnamrit and Panchamrit. Without it, bhog is not offered to gods. The water of the Gangas and Tulsi leaves are given to a person lying on deathbed. No other plant has such religious significance as Tulsi. There is a scientific secret behind all these religious beliefs. Tulsi is a divine medical plant. Tulsi is a divine medicinal plant, and like kasturi, musk, it has the power to infuse life into a dead man. Terminal plant, and like kasturi, musk, it has the power to infuse life into a dead man. Terminal diseases such as cancer can be cured by tulsi. Great values of tulsi find a mention in books of Ayurveda. Its leaves boiled in water, if taken during fever, cold, cough, and malaria, provide immediate relief. Tulsi leaves have a remarkable property of preventing infectious diseases. When it is placed in bhog, offering to gods, it doesn't rot or go sour. When it is mixed in panchanamrit, charnamrit, it does not turn sour or develop germs for a long period. Tulsi manjari's pods give out a peculiar scent which repels poisonous snakes. It is worshipped for its medicinal properties. According to a book titled Ranveer Bhakti Ratnakar, wherever the wind scented by Tulsi blows, it purifies all directions and makes all the four forms of life. Udbis, Swedas, Andas, and Jara, full of jest and spirit. According to another book, Kriya Yogasar, the very touch of Tulsi kills the germs of malaria. Kriya Yogasar, the very touch of Tulsi kills the germs of malaria and many other diseases immediately. Offering coconut at religious ceremonies. Long back, animals were sacrificed, symbolizing the offering of our animalistic tendencies to our Lord. But with the passage of time, this practice got faded away and we started offering coconut instead, after removing the fiber covering of the dried coconut as a token of that earlier practice. Coconut is offered on occasions like weddings, festivals, on purchasing new vehicles, starting the construction of buildings, bridges or big projects, etc. Coconut is placed on water-filled kalash. Water-filled kalsh means pot. On such occasions for worshipping, the marks on the coconut make it look like the head of a human being. And when it is broken, it symbolizes breaking of our ego. The water within, representing the inner tendencies, is offered along with the white learned the mind to the Lord. A mind thus purified by the touch of the Lord is used as prasad. Coconut also symbolizes selfless services as every part of its tree trunk. Coconut also symbolizes selfless service as every part of its tree trunk, leaves, fruits, coir, etc. It is used in many ways like making house, thatches, mats, dishes, oil, soap, etc. The marks on the coconut are even thought to represent the three-eyed Lord Shiva, and therefore it is considered to be a means to fulfill our desires. Ringing bell in temples and homes. The ringing of the bell produces what is regarded as an auspicious sound. It produces the sound of Om, the universal name of the Lord. There should be auspiciousness to gain the vision of the Lord, who is all auspiciousness. In all temples there are bells hung at the entrance gate, and the devotees ring the bell as soon as they enter for darshan of Lord. The bells are not for awakening the Lord, as he never sleeps, nor there is any need to take permission from the God by ringing bells. It is meant only to arouse the prevailing auspiciousness. Even while doing the ritualistic arti, we ring the bell. It is accompanied by the auspicious sounds of the conch and other musical instruments. Pradakshina. Pradakshina. When we visit a temple, after offering prayers, we circumambulate the sanctum. Sanctum, and this is called Pradakshina. One cannot make a circle without the center point. Recognizing him as the central point in our lives, we go about doing our daily chores. This is the significance of Pradakshina. As we do Pradakshina in a clockwise direction, the Lord is always on our right. In India, the right side symbolizes auspiciousness. It is a telling fact that even in the English language it is called the right side and not the wrong one. So as we circumambulate the sanctum, we remind ourselves to lead an auspicious life of righteousness. With the Lord. Righteousness with the Lord, who is the indispensable source of help and strength. As our guide, the right hand, the dharma aspect of our lives. A prayer room in homes. A prayer room in homes. Brahma is the owner of the entire Brahmanand, including planet Earth. He is therefore the true owner of the house we live in. The prayer room is the master room of the house. We are mere we are mere occupants of the property. We are mere occupants of his property. This notion rids us of a false pride. This notion rids us of false pride, and yes, most Indian homes have a prayer room and a lamp is lit to worship the Lord every morning and evening. Special worship is done on auspicious occasions like birthdays, anniversaries, festivals, and the like. Every member of the family, young or old, communicates with and worships the Supreme Being in prayer room. As we need bedroom, drawing room, etc., and decorate these to our taste. So, to for the purpose of meditation, we should have conducive atmosphere. Hence, the need for a prayer room. The ideal attitude to have is to regard the Lord as the true owner of our homes and us as caretakers of his home. Also, the Lord is all pervading to remind us that he resides in our homes with us. We have prayer rooms. Without the grace of Lord, without the grace of the Lord, no task can be successfully or easily accomplished. We invoke his grace by communicating with him in the prayer room each day and on special occasions. Sacred thoughts and sound vibrations pervade the place and influence the minds of those who spend time there. Spiritual thoughts and vibrations accumulated through regular meditation, worship, and chanting done there pervade the prayer room. Worshipping snakes, according to ancient Hindu beliefs, the whole earth rests on the hood of Sheshnag, the legendary snake. So a snake of silver is made and the spirit of Sheshnag is infused in it and it is placed in the foundation of new constructions. The thought behind it is that just as Sheshnag is holding the earth steadfast, so should the foundation of the building be steadfast on the hood of the snake. Petal lock is below the earth. The master of the petal lock is snake. Therefore, snake is worshipped for elimination of evil effects. Since Sheshnag lives in Kshir Sagar ocean of milk, therefore by putting milk, curd and ghee in the kalsh as presentation of Kshir Sagar and charming it with mantras, Gods are invoked, therefore, in the Vishnu Kalsh, a coin with the image of Lakshmi is put and the Kalsh is placed inside the ground. The entire ritual of foundation worship is based on these beliefs. Why we worship idol? Idol worship is a means of withdrawing mind from all sides and concentrating on God. The quietness of mind is known as dhyana. Samadhi implies getting settled in Brahma. Idol is required if mind does not quieten and settle without it. There is no alternative to idol worship to control the mind and help it acquire knowledge and consciousness to settle. Not only this, psychologists say that the idol is required for right feeling to come into play. Imagine a man has photos of three women in his hands. One is of his mother, the second one is that of his wife, and the third one is that of his sister. Mother, wife and sister. The feeling in that man's mind will vary according to the picture he sees. His mother's photograph will stir up his respect and affection, while his sister's photograph will trigger his sense of duty and love rewards his sister. On the other hand, his wife's photograph will arouse his romantic feelings. Eklavya built the statue of Dronacharya and worshipped him as his teacher and became a greater expert in archery than Arjuna. On instructions from Narad, Dhruva made a statue and worshipped it, saw God in reality through this medium. Not only in Sanatan Dharma, idol worship is also prevalent in other religions of the world. Christians worship the Holy Cross. Our Muslim brethren kiss Sanjay Ashwad in Makkah Sharif. Sanjay Ashwad in Makkah Sharif. They offer floral garlands on graves. Dargah. Sikhs worship Guru Granth Sahib. Different forms of idols they worship in the form of audio video. Basant Panchami. Basant Panchami heralds the advent of spring and is dedicated to goddess Saraswati. This festival marks the day of spring. Vasant means the spring. The fields are mustard yellow with the ripening of crops. Yellow is an auspicious color, a color of spirituality. Basant Panchami falls on the fifth day of the bright half of Magh, Jan Feb. Saraswati is the consort of Lord Brahma and is the goddess of wisdom and knowledge. She is the personification of knowledge, arts, science, and craft. She represents Shakti, creativity, and inspiration, and presents herself when the weather is complacent and nature is in its full grandeur. It is a season of inspiration and passion. Celebrations. The most significant aspect of this day is that Hindu children are taught reading and writing their first words on this day, as it is considered an auspicious day to begin a child's education. Educational institutions organize special prayers for Saraswati on this day. Saintly people and people inclined toward spiritual progress attach great importance to the worship of Goddess Saraswati. As a practice, educated people and the men of principle worship Goddess Saraswati for spiritual enlightenment. In their opinion, there can be no comparison between the king and the learned or the spiritually advanced. They believe that the king is honored within his kingdom, whereas the learned are respected or worshipped throughout the world. Rituals. There are various rituals that are followed in the worshiping of Goddess Saraswati. The one common ritual followed by all the worshippers is that the idol of Goddess is clothed in white. The other predominant color in the celebrations being yellow to indicate the onset of spring and the blooming of mustard flowers. Flowers and wild berries are offered to the goddess, and students place their books before the deity and do not do any reading or writing that day. An elaborate puja with sandalwood, ghee, josh sticks, and incense is done to the sound of slokas, conch shells, and drums. A ritual note connected to the worship but equally essential to the celebration is that of flying kites on this day. The goddess are mainly fruits, most significant being berries from wild plum tree. Sweets must include puffed rice, jaggery, and yogurt. The priest using special wood, ghee, josh sticks, and incense does a havan. Absence of any burnt smell signifies the success of the puja. A diya or lamp is also kept lit along with the bhog. A handful of flowers, particularly marigold and flame of the forest, is given to each devotee to offer to the goddess as Pushpanjali. The offering is done in batches of devotees who repeat mantras after the priest. The lit lamp used during the arti is passed around for each devotee and touching the heads. Nobody touches books on the day. This signifies that the goddess is blessing the books placed in front of her that day. Brothers and sisters, all of you are listening the festivals. India is the land of festivals. All personalities, those who came first on this land, predicted us, gave the lesson of truthfulness. Saint Tulsi Das Jayanti. Tulsidas Jayanti is celebrated on the seventh day of the bright half of Sarvan. The great saint poet Tulsidas was a contemporary of Akbar, Akbar the Great. He was born to Brahmin parents but soon became an orphan and was brought up and educated by a saint named Narharidas. Narharidas Narharidas was introduced to do so by God in a dream. It is he who gave him the mantra of Ram Nam. Tulsidas married and started living the life of a householder, but some chance words of his wife awakened in him ardent bhakti towards God, and he became a sannyasi and began to live in Varanasi. There he wrote his well-known Ramcharitmanas. Besides a dozen other books, he wrote this masterpiece in the language of the common people for their benefit. In the words of Grierson, over whole of the Gangestic region, his work is better known than the Bible is in England. His Ramayana is verily life breath of the devout Hindus. In no uncertain terms, he has emphasized the significance of the path of devotion or bhakti as a means of spiritual evolution and final liberation. He lays stress on the constant repetition of Ram Nam because in this present era, Kali Yuga, Kalikal, knowledge, yoga, samadhi, and dispassion are of little avail. Therefore, one must constantly recite the name of Rama with unwavering faith. The repetition of this name is greater than austerity, pilgrimage, oblation, discipline, and fast. His own saintly example and the magic of his writings have done more for the spiritual upliftment of the masses than the teachings of hundreds of gurus. He and his works are so greatly revered that tradition regards him as Valmiki reborn. It is believed that he died on the same date, and a couplet is often quoted in this connection. Samvat 1680 गंगे के तिर श्रवण शुक्ला सप्तमी तुलसी तजयो शरीर. Celebrations on the auspicious day of his Jayanti and Moksha. Fast is observed and charities are done. Ramayana is read and recital. Brahmins are fed and Lord Rama along with his consort Sita and devotee Hanuman is worshipped with great religious fervor in literary and social circles, discussions, lectures, seminars, and symposiums on his teaching, life, and works are organized. Brothers and sisters, you are listening introduction about the festivals of our Indian land. Indian land is the land of festivals. Every day in India is celebrated as a day of celebration because we believe in the rising sun. Rising sun is our true God because it creates light on this earth. Not only on this earth, but it provides us a great relief and peace of mind, tranquility of our heart and mind inside, and provides as a symbol of knowledge. Fairs and festivals of India is very important thing of our culture. The colorful mosaic of Indian festivals and fairs, as diverse as the land, is an expression of the spirit of celebration. Festivals are like gems of Indian culture. They are found the year vibrant interludes in the mundane routine of life. Every season brings along new festivals. Each is true celebration of the bounties of nature. And that's not all. The birthdays of gods and goddesses, saints and prophets, great historical happenings, and the advent of the new year, colorful festivities. The same festival, though celebrated differently in the various parts of the country, exhibits an eternal harmony of spirit, packed with fun and excitement. Festivals are occasions to clean and decorate houses, to get together with friends and relatives, and to exchange gifts, new attire, new attire, dance, music, and rituals all add to their joyful rhythm. It is a time for prayer. It is a time for prayer, pageantry, and processions. A time to rejoice. Some of the major festivals, fairs, and fasts have been listed here in chronological order for easy reference of readers. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for providing your valuable time. You are really providing your invaluable time of life for knowing the truth of science and spirituality, for knowing the truth of our Indian land. Actually, nobody can describe. Inexplainable cannot be explained. Unchangeable cannot be changed. Undone cannot be done. Unspoken cannot be spoken. Unread cannot be read. Unlearned cannot be learned. So ultimately, we are to pray and worship the nature as a form of God, because nature is always with us, everywhere with us. All the natural objects and elements that we have around us everywhere. If we are natural, nature will teach us. Nature teaches us like a teacher. Nature guides us like a master. Nature nurtures us like a mother. Nature treats us like a doctor. So nature is the true worshipper. Thank you, brothers and sisters, those who are listening. Our present Prime Minister, Dr. Narendra Modi ji, also addressed the whole world, whose role model is Swami Vivekananda, addressed the whole world because they were totally indulged and involved with the nature, and it was very friendly with them, it was very familiarly with them, and there was no cheating, beating and deceiving with them because of nature. Nature provides us, gives us, imparts us its friendliness everywhere. How we can go away from five elements of the body: air, fire, soil, water. We can never think beyond five elements because it is written in the form of our religious philosophy. But Swami Vivekananda proved it, advocated, appealed to the word that our Indian philosophy believes in return to the Vedas on the basis of the doctrine and principle that we feel the existence of Lord even where there is no vibration is available, where there is no availability of rays of light, waves of sound. So, dear brothers and sisters, friends, all of us have to learn that what's the truth of science and spirituality. We are to do great actions in our life with the blessings of Lord, with the presence of God, because He is always with us in present and past. He is, He will, and He was everywhere with us. We never pollute our land. We are to keep our atmosphere and environment healthy, neat and clean, free from pollution by planting more and more trees. So, dear brothers and sisters, ultimately and in the end of this speech, I thank all of you. Thanks, Lord. Thanks, God.